Hello and welcome to the Stockholm Resilience Centre. I'm here with Jennifer Hinton and we're going to be talking about her research. Hello Jennifer.
Hi Ashley.
Who are you and how would you describe yourself?
So I originally come from Colorado in the US, but I haven't lived there for 11 years or so. I've been sort of traveling around. I lived in China teaching English for 6 months, and that really turned me on to sustainability, the things that I experienced in this tiny village in China, actually. And then I ended up doing a sustainability master's, sustainability science master's degree in Lund University in the south of Sweden, and fell in love with a Greek man there, and we moved to Greece, and I spent about 7.5 years in Greece working with various sustainability initiatives there. And in Greece, that's where I really started questioning the tension between our economy and the environment and society, and why does it always feel like the economy and the environment are at odds somehow, and how can we alleviate or resolve that tension. And then I started working with the Post-Growth Institute, which is a global collective of researchers and activists who are passionate about going beyond the growth-based economic system. So going beyond this need for constant growth, because we only have one planet, so we have to make sure that our economy can deliver human flourishing within the planetary boundaries. And then so that work that I did with the Post-Growth Institute has sort of led me naturally into the PhD work that I'm doing now here at the SRC.
Okay, great. And could you talk a bit more about your PhD research?
Yeah, sure. So I'm doing my PhD as part of an EU-funded project called Adapticon 2, and the tagline is Adapting to a New Economic Reality. And so there are 12 PhD students in this project, of which I am one, and all 12 projects have something to do with how can we have a more sustainable economy. And my particular assignment in the beginning was just to look more at the social dynamics of that. And I've ended up honing more into, the post-growth economy. How can we have a healthy economy that doesn't require incessant, infinite growth? But particularly the ownership frameworks that would allow for a post-growth economy. So I'm looking at sort of the relationship between different ownership frameworks and the growth orientation of the economy, whether different ownership frameworks might promote or drive or even create a need for economic growth.
Okay, so you were talking about a new economic reality within your program. Mm-hmm. What would that look like to you?
Yeah, so for me, it's an economy that, first of all, sees human and ecological needs as inseparable, and an economy that only exists in service of those needs, of making sure that human needs are satisfied in healthy ways that also deliver ecological flourishing. And part of that for me is, getting our priorities right, that growth may or may not contribute to that, but growth should not be a goal in itself. Same with profit. Profit may or may not contribute to that, but it shouldn't be a goal in itself. So it's also about looking at priorities.
Okay, so speaking of priorities, what could we individually or as a society do to realize this new economic system?
Mm-hmm. So there are many different layers to it. And for me, being a systems thinker and coming at this from a really bird's eye view, I'm really interested in looking at not so much the players of the game, but the rules of the game. So what are the rules? How can we change the rules by which our game called the economy is played? And so for individuals, there are a lot of behavioral changes that we can make. We can stop using plastic bags at the grocery store and all of these things that we've all heard of. Stop using too much electricity. But we also, as individuals, need to be questioning the rules of the game and also push for changes in the rules of the economy and how the economy is designed and implemented and what are the economic rules. So that's part of the individual change, and the systemic change is actually changing those rules.
Okay, that's a really nice way to put it, the changing the rules of the game.
Yeah, thanks.
And I have a final question for you. Who is a woman that inspires you in your work?
Yeah, so the first woman that came to mind for me was Donella Meadows, who is a systems thinker, pioneer in systems thinking. And she passed away before I even got interested in sustainability and systems thinking and all of this, which sort of speaks to the power of her legacy in that field. And yeah, just a real inspiration in her intellect and her research and modeling abilities and skills that she had. She was part of the MIT team that worked on the limits to growth study and the book that they made in the system dynamics model there. But also her character and the way that she made personal changes in her life, and she worked to try to be the change that she wanted to see in the world, to quote Gandhi, but also to work for changes on that systemic level, because she also saw how important, I mean, that's actually where I get it from, is from Donella Meadows, how important the rules of the game are and the purpose that those rules are oriented towards. So she's just had an enormous impact on me.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.